Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about Servlet Life Cycle. Servlet is a Java program that runs on a web server to handle client requests and generate the dynamic responses. Basically, Servlet are server-side programs that run on web or application server and act as a middle layer between a request coming from a web browser and databases or applications on the server. Using Servlet, you can collect the input from the users through web page, present record from the databases or other sources, and create a web pages dynamically. A Servlet lifecycle can be defined as the entire process from its creation till the destruction. The Servlet lifecycle consists of three main methods. One is the init method, next one is the service method, third one is the destroy method. The servlet is initialized by calling the init method. Then the servlet calls service method to process the client request. The servlet is terminated by calling the destroy method. The servlet lifecycle contains 5 steps. The first one is loading of servlet. That means when a web server starts up, the servlet container deploy and loads all the servlet. Once the servlet classes is loaded, the servlet container create the instance of each servlet class. Then the servlet container creates only one instance per servlet class, and all the requests to the servlets are executed on the same servlet instance. So when the servlet classes is instantiated, the init method is invoked for each servlet class. The fourth step is invoke service method repeatedly for each client request. Each time the web server receives a request for the servlet, it creates a new thread that calls the service method. If the servlet is generic servlet, then the request is served by the service method itself. If the servlet is a HTTP servlet, then the service method receives the request and dispatches it to the correct handler method based on the type of request. Then the last step is destroy method. When the servlet container shutdowns, it unloads all the servlets and calls a destroy method for each initialized servlet. So servlet lifecycle basically contains the three method: init method, then service method, third one is the destroy method. The init method is designed to be called only once. It is called when the servlet is first created and not called again for each user request. So it is used for one-time initialization. The servlet is normally created when a user first invokes a URL corresponding to the servlet. So next one is the service method. The service method is the main method to perform the actual task. The servlet container calls the service method to handle request coming from the client and to write the formatted response back to the client. Each time if the server receives a request for a servlet, the server issues a new thread and calls the service. The service method checks the HTTP request type, get, post, put and delete request, and calls the corresponding method like do get method, do post method, to put method and to delete method. The service method is called by the servlet container, and the service method invokes do get, do post and to delete methods. So you have nothing to do with service method, but you have to override either do get method or do post method depending on what type of request you received from the client. The do get and do post are the most frequently used methods within each service request. So next one is the destroy method. The destroy method is called only once at the end of the life cycle of the servlet. This method gives your servlet a chance to close database connection, halt background threads, and perform other such cleanup activities. Thank you all.